Hello everyone, welcome to Wirtschaft TV. I'm Manuel Koch and joining me now is Guilfoyle of Deep Value. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Manuel, for having me.
A lot of things are going on at the moment and we're looking to the labor market. Just like 38,000 new jobs were created in the month of May, much less than expected. Is this like the first step back from an interest rate high?
This is certainly a step back. It's hard to overstate just how disastrous I think this month is. Yes, 38,000 people got hired, but did you know we also added 67,000 temp jobs? That would push the number into the negative. We also had 412,000 or so people fall off the back end, leave the labor force. So this is an extremely negative month. We had a reduction in average work week. We saw a slackening in the pace of increase in wages. There's really not a single positive in this number. Certainly, the Fed, which has been talking about an interest rate hike, has to take another look now. I don't think there's any chance they'll jump in June ahead of the Brexit now that we have our own problems that are look like they're pretty significant. I think we have to wait till July and maybe not at all.
I mean, the Fed was like preparing the markets for weeks and like every Fed member was talking about it. And they said, oh, the economy is at least stable, it's growing. And now this step back, I think it's a huge thing.
I think so too. I mean, what do we need these guys for? What do we need economists for? When they're this wrong, when they're all out there in front speaking like hawks. Now, I'm kind of a von Mises economist myself. I believe in that credit should have a cost. I believe in hard money rather than easy money. But they were speaking as if they were ready to raise rates. Maybe they're run by the banks here. They're not really a government institution. Maybe the banks really wanted them to raise interest rates because that's actually good for the banks. So they were like leading them that way. And now with the economy obviously hitting a stone wall, they're going to have to back up.
But I mean, they should know better, right? So what do you think? Will we see an interest rate high in June or is it still too early?
There's no chance there'll be one in June now at this point. The macro is just too weak. We've seen some other weak macro. We just got a lousy ISM number for the service sector. We got a really lousy construction spending number the other day. So yeah, we have some strong housing numbers. And some of the retail numbers have been wishy-washy, but we have a lot of weak macro now. And let's not forget the Brexit vote is just 8 days after the next FOMC meeting. So they will not be raising interest rates in June. I think if you want to see interest rate hike, you got to hope for some good macro next month and hope they go in July. But there's no meeting in August, and September is just too close to the presidential election here in the US. So if they don't go in July, it's over for the year.
What does this all mean for the economy? What can we expect for the second half of the year?
We're in a tougher spot than we thought we were. We're in a tougher spot than I thought we were. I mean, if the average guy or gal out there who's trying to make a living can't make a living, that's going to slow down the velocity of money. The velocity of money slows down, then the inflation that we did have slows down, and the housing sector, which has been our bright spot, will obviously peak and come in somewhere because there just won't be the money to support it. So this is really, if these numbers are not revised significantly next month, this is a severe hiccup.
And will we see a pullback at the markets?
That is a tricky question because you would think so. I would think so. The markets come in a little bit today, but let's face it, when Janet Yellen and her gang pour money on the market, it tends to be good for the market. When they pour money into the economy, I should say. When they cut interest rates, when they do things like quantitative easing, it tends to be good for the S&P 500. So there is a chance that, as perverse as it is, this could be good for the marketplace if it means that money will remain easy for longer.
So we will keep an eye on Guilfoyle of Deep Value. Thank you so much, appreciate your time, and thank you for watching Wirtschaft TV.